At 37, I sat at my own birthday dinner and watched my mother place a blue Tiffany box in front of my sister with both hands, then reach into her purse and slide me a ripped envelope across the table. Inside was a $2 scratch-off from the gas station 2 blocks from her house. No card, just a post-it note in her handwriting, for my girl who always lands on her feet. Mom. The whole table laughed. My sister laughed. My brother-in-law laughed. My mother smiled like she'd done something clever. I smiled too. I said thank you. I put the ticket in my coat pocket and helped clear the dishes. 4 weeks later, that $2 ticket was worth $2.3 million. And I let my mother find out from the checkout clerk at her Tuesday grocery run. My name is Claire Renner. I'm 38 years old. I own a marketing consulting firm in Denton, Texas that I built from a folding table and one client at age 29. I have never once asked my family for money, and the one time I did, 3 months into my business, needing a small bridge loan to make payroll, my mother told me she just didn't have it. 2 weeks later, she redecorated my sister Renata's living room. Renata is 3 years older than me. She is the daughter my mother has always rushed toward, the one who needed the car paid for, the wedding covered, the down payment quietly handled. I was the other one, the capable one, the one who had it handled, the one you hand a gas station scratch off while her sister opens Tiffany because she won't make a scene about it. And she was right. I didn't make a scene. I put the ticket in the ceramic bowl by my front door and I forgot about it for 4 weeks. I scratched it on a Sunday morning while my coffee brewed. I wasn't even paying attention. I used a quarter from my wallet and scratched through the latex and then I stopped. I read the numbers, then I read them again. Then I took a photo with my phone, set the ticket on the counter and walked to my window and stood looking at the parking lot for 3 full minutes. $2.3 million from a $2 joke. I did not scream. I did not cry. What I felt was something I can only describe as the universe making an extremely specific point. I put the ticket in a Ziploc bag, and I called no one. People always ask me why. Why didn't I call your mother, Claire? You just won over $2 million. Here is why. I had spent 37 years watching what happened to good things when I brought them to my family. Every achievement became a segue back to Renata. Every success was acknowledged and filed away as proof that I was fine and needed nothing. If I called my mother with this number, it would stop being mine before I hung up the phone. It would become Renata's bathroom renovation and Derek's investment idea and my mother's opinions about what responsible people do with windfalls. I had never once been the person things flowed toward in my family. I was not going to let that happen now. I called a lawyer instead. Her name was Diane Castellano. She had handled lottery winners before, and she did not blink at my number. She told me I could claim through a blind trust. The trust's name goes public, not mine. We had a narrow window before the ticket expired. We used every day of it. For 11 days, I went to work. I answered emails, I met with clients, I had a Thursday Zoom with my team and gave feedback on a campaign rollout, and not one person in that meeting knew that the woman on their screen had just changed her life entirely. On day 11, the trust claimed the ticket. A regional lottery win was announced. No name, just a number, $2.3 million. My hometown is not a big place. The ticket had been purchased at the gas station 2 blocks from my mother's house. Her neighbor James, who had been at my birthday dinner, who had watched my mother hand me that ripped envelope, put it together within 48 hours. James told my mother on a Tuesday morning. My mother called me 11 times before noon. Renata called 8 times. Derek called once, which tells you everything about Derek's actual interest in me versus the money. I let every call go to voicemail. I sat at my desk and watched my phone light up with their names, and I thought about the post-it note, for my girl who always lands on her feet. I listened to every voicemail that evening, start to finish, before I responded to anything. My mother's messages moved from confused to warm to, by her 6th call, calling me baby girl. A name she had not used since I was small, since before I became the easy one she stopped worrying about. Renata's messages were something else entirely. By her 3rd voicemail, she was crying. She said she'd always looked up to me. She said she'd been meaning to call more. She said she hoped I knew how much she loved me. I had been waiting my entire adult life to hear Renata say she loved me with that kind of urgency. I let it sit overnight. Then I called my mother back and told her I needed both of them, her and Renata, to come to my apartment for dinner on Friday, together. No Derek. My mother said yes before I finished the sentence. I cooked. I set the table, and I placed the scratch-off ticket, still with the post-it note attached, the torn latex showing the numbers underneath, flat in the center of the table under a glass where they would both see it the moment they sat down. They arrived together. Renata had dressed up. My mother brought wine, real wine, not the kind she brings when she isn't trying. They sat down. They saw the ticket. Neither of them spoke first. So I did. "I know why you're here," I said. My voice was even. This is the voice I use when I have something important to say and I need it to land without any interference from emotion. "And I want to have this conversation, but I need to say something first, and I need you both to hear it without interrupting." I looked at my mother. "You gave Renata a Tiffany bracelet and you gave me a scratch off from your purse, and you did it in front of everyone, and the whole table laughed, and you looked at me to confirm it was fine. And I confirmed it. I said thank you, and I cleared your dishes, and I drove home alone." I paused. "I have been confirming that things are fine my entire life. The tuition you covered for Renata and not for me. The wedding. The living room furniture. The one time I asked you for help and you said you didn't have it, 2 weeks before you redecorated her house." My mother opened her mouth. I held up one hand. "I'm not finished." She closed it. I looked at Renata. "And you. You laughed first at that table. You were wearing a bracelet our mother bought you, and you laughed at the envelope she gave me because you have never once in your adult life had to think about what it costs to be the other daughter, the one who handles things, the one who doesn't need anything." I let that sit. "I needed things, Renata. I just learned early that asking didn't work." The room was very quiet. Renata was crying. Real tears this time, not voicemail tears. My mother's hands were folded on the table, and she was looking at the scratch-off ticket like it was a document she was being asked to sign. "Yes," I said, answering the question neither of them had asked out loud. "It was mine. It still is. I claimed it through a trust with a lawyer, which is why it took you 11 days and a neighbor to figure out it was me." I sat back. "I didn't set anything aside for either of you. That's not punishment. It's just, it was a birthday gift. It was my birthday gift. And I spent my whole life watching everything flow toward whoever needed it most in this family. And for once, something landed in my hands, and I decided to keep it there." My mother said quietly, "I didn't know it would hurt you. The ticket. I thought you'd find it funny." "I know," I said. "That's the part that took me the longest to understand. You weren't being cruel. You genuinely believed I didn't need more. You believed it so completely that it didn't occur to you that believing it was itself a kind of cruelty." I looked at her. "I need you to see me, Mom. Not just now, when the number is large enough to get your attention. Actually see me, the way you've always seen her." My mother cried. I had seen her cry for Renata 100 times. Watching her cry about me was something I didn't have a category for. Renata reached across the table and put her hand over mine. She didn't say anything. Sometimes the right response is just your hand on someone's hand and your mouth staying closed. We ate dinner, all three of us, at my table, in my apartment, with the scratch-off ticket still sitting under the glass in the center, like evidence of everything we'd never said out loud until tonight. I didn't offer them anything. Not money, not promises, not a plan. I offered them this conversation and a home-cooked meal and the truth, plainly spoken without cruelty. That was enough. For now, that was exactly enough. The post-it note is still on my refrigerator. For my girl who always lands on her feet. She wasn't wrong. I do land on my feet. I've been doing it my whole life, quietly, without credit, without complaint. The difference now is I finally stopped pretending I didn't feel the fall. If there is someone in your life who hands you the cheap gift while someone else gets the bracelet, who calls you capable as a reason to stop caring, I want you to hear this. Being strong doesn't mean you don't get to be seen. And landing on your feet doesn't mean you have to do it alone.